What happened to your friends? You got tired of waiting for you and left?
No, actually, she had a call. I told her to step outside. How you been, Milton?
I've been all right.
Look like you lost some weight.
No, that's kind of you to say that, but the answer to that is no.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
All right. Mr. Rose.
At first, this seems like a simple traffic case. License issues, expired plates, minor violations. But it quickly reveals something deeper about responsibility. The defendant isn't denying anything, just explaining confusion and trying to fix it later. But in court, intent isn't enough. Compliance matters. You're still responsible, even if you didn't fully understand. So the question is, should the law be flexible in situations like this, or always strict?
You got charged with violation of a restricted license and a registration plate violation. Let's take a look, see what your restrictions are. This is also an ordinance case. I don't know why they set this on a Thursday. Wish they wouldn't. Oh, it's a Centerville case. Expired plate, no ops on person, had no temporary permit, no passenger with license. So what's the status of your license now?
I have to pay something. I don't know. I got to go pay something to get this restriction or whatever it is that's on it. I got to go pay that. The car that I was stopped in, I'm not operating that car. That was somebody that I was with. She told me the car was legal. She let me use it, go to Walmart, and I got stopped and they told me it wasn't. I don't know nothing about it. All I know is I don't even talk to her no more. I'm not even operating that.
It was not his car. Whose car was it?
Anna Wired, or yeah, I'm pretty sure Wired.
All right, and you can working on clearing up your restriction.
This is where reality hits. The issue isn't just the stop. It's the unpaid ticket behind it. One unresolved problem leads to another, and suddenly everything stacks up. That's how small cases escalate. The judge offers a path, fix it, handle it, come back. It's structured accountability. But think about it. How many people realize how quickly minor violations can spiral into bigger legal trouble?
Yeah, I gotta go somewhere and pay something.
Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Are you back in Three Rivers?
No, as of now, my new address is in Vandalia.
All right, we'll get that. You have a valid ID. You had an instructional permit that expired February 26th. So you had a temporary permit. You just didn't have somebody in the car with you. You got an unpaid ticket here in Centerville.
Wait, like you saying like a previous one or like?
That's what it shows here.
So when they stopped me, they gave me the ticket.
I don't know. Let me take a look. I'm surprised they gave you a temporary permit if you had unpaid tickets, so that must be old. I don't see any unpaid tickets on here.
I don't have any. Oh, it's the state, maybe the state board that stopped me when I was on my way from work on 131.
I don't know. Let's take a look.
Yeah, that's got to be it. That's the only thing.
8. Speeding on 8/27. Yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
Uh,
That's what I gotta pay to get the restriction off. That's what I have to pay. Yeah, other than that, you shouldn't see anything.
It didn't show up on my cheat sheet, but it does show that you have an unpaid speeding ticket.
That's the one.
Maybe I missed it. Let me look again. No, I didn't. We didn't catch it. I don't have time to look at each one of these myself, but I'm gonna send you out to the counter. We'll get new address.
That was not on the docket yesterday. Looked like it was just scheduled yesterday.
All right, maybe
In
that's
our
why,
system, you probably got it beforehand.
maybe that's why I didn't show up. 1/27/26. They put it in there on January 27th, so I'm not sure. Get new. Need to pay ticket. And clear with SOS. All right, I'm gonna set a pretrial for 2/26 at 8:30. So I'm gonna send you out to the counter. We'll get address, unpaid ticket. You can deal with that. We'll set this for a pretrial and the prosecutor can see what you got accomplished between now and when I see you then. I won't give you a handwritten notice because you got to go to the clerk anyway, so they'll give you a formal notice.
All right.
All right, Mr. Rhodes, I'll see you later in February.
Can I tell you one thing before I go?
Yes.
Now this moment changes everything. The defendant calls out the judge, saying he doesn't make enough eye contact. That's rare in court. But instead of reacting negatively, the judge accepts it calmly. That shows something important. Respect isn't one-sided. Even in court, human interaction matters. So what do you think? Does honesty like this build trust, or does it cross a line?
I'd love to see all your success with the YouTube and everything, but can I tell you something?
Yes,
You
sir.
don't look at people in the eyes enough.
I don't?
You look at that computer.
Oh.
You don't look at us.
All right, well, that's good to know.
You're supposed to judge us. Look me in my eye.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at your picture of you. All right, thank you, Mr. Rhodes. I'll take that as constructive criticism. All right, Robert Gowan. Boy, we have a lot of no-shows. Good morning. So are you Robert Alicia Gowan?
Yes, sir.
And we've met, but I need to identify you for the record. Mr. Gowan, you got charged with larceny. It's kind of a strange one. The file number is 251144SM. Did the officers give you an advice of rights sheet?
Yes.
Could I have that? Thank you. This is 251144SM. You got charged with stealing somebody's electricity.
This is an unusual charge, stealing electricity. It sounds strange, but legally, it's still theft. Taking something that isn't yours, even indirectly, is a crime. The judge immediately appoints a lawyer, which shows how complex this case is. These situations need proper defense. So the question is, should unusual cases be treated differently, or should the law stay consistent?
The complaint alleges that you stole electricity that belonged to your neighbor, Mark Cornish, last February and sometime after that. That's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $200. So it's a strange kind of a charge that you like plugged your somebody cut a hole in his barn and that's the allegation. How do you plead to that?
Not guilty.
You want me to appoint a lawyer for you?
Yes.
Appoint an attorney, set attorney pretrial for March 6th. We're gonna be busy on that day also. At 8:30. The affidavit's kind of confusing. This is on US 12 in Sturgis Township. He has a barn on it. They pay their bills ahead of time. He got a bill for $191.29. Some of this goes back to 2024. They found the extension cords and traced them over to your property. And so there's a lot going on here. Anyway, we'll get a lawyer to help you with it and set it for a pretrial. Are you still on Schimmel Road?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm interested to see where this goes, but for now, I'll show you pled not guilty. You've been patiently waiting for your turn. We'll get an attorney appointed. Same deal. They're going to appoint a lawyer. I want you to contact the lawyer, make an appointment to discuss this with it prior to that date of March 6th. All right, you're good to go, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we got Kyle Wellington. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're not really last. Everybody else is gonna be coming back in.
Okay.
But you were the last guy to get logged in, so you're the last name on my list.
I apologize. I was coming from Buchanan.
Well, you're here now.
Yes, sir.
You're here on a charge of domestic violence, second offense, which is a serious charge. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. They charge you with 2 counts of it. So let's take a look. Oh, they charge this as a felony.
Now the stakes get serious. What starts as domestic violence becomes a felony because of prior history. That's how the system works. Repeat behavior raises consequences. Add habitual offender status. And the risk increases even more. The judge moves it to a higher court. So ask yourself, does harsher punishment actually stop repeat behavior or make things worse?
Aggravated domestic violence, second offense. Which makes it a felony punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. It's alleged that you had a previous domestic assault, but you did an aggravated domestic assault on Amanda Leigh Maston. And an aggravated domestic assault is punishable by up to a year in jail. But if you have a previous domestic assault, it makes it a 5-year felony. You're also charged as a habitual offender, which would make the maximum here up to 7.5 years. So I don't have jurisdiction to take your plea to show that you were live for arraignment and show a plea of not guilty. Appoint an attorney. Set pre-exam. They didn't catch that this was a felony. Pre-exam will be February 17th at 8:30. And if we need a prelim, it will be February 24th, 26th at 1 o'clock. Now, you also got charged with no insurance. And apparently you didn't deal with that. Let's take a look.
There is, I'm pretty sure there was insurance. If not, there is insurance on the vehicle now.
All
I
right.
called the number and, or
You were set for January 22nd. They gave you a new notice for this morning. So you have insurance now?
yes, sir.
Two five 2482. I'm gonna set that for pretrial with a felony for 2/17/26 at 8:30. So the no insurance and the domestic violence felony case are all set for the same date, which will be February 17th at 8:30. So I'm gonna send you with a court officer. They'll give you notice. All right, here's your instruction. I want you to call your lawyer, make an appointment to discuss this with him
Okay.
prior to your pre-exam date on February 17th.
Yes, sir.
Hold on to that proof of insurance and share that with your attorney. All
Can I
right, I'll
say
see
something,
you.
sir?
What's that?
I mean, for the record, when it comes to the DV, it was always just like, so the first,
All right, well, I don't want you to say any more about it at this hearing. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, but I don't want you to say anything about it till you
Sorry.
get a chance. You don't need to apologize. I appreciate your willingness to talk to me, but for your own right, I want to make sure you get a chance to talk to your lawyer first.
okay,
All right.
thank
You're
you.
good to go. All right, Paul, we got lots of no-shows. Luis Vergara Silva, charged with indecent exposure. It was set for jury trial in front of Judge Pattison. Step to adjourn. Why do I have this? Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. Well, I don't know. We've been in the same place for a while, maybe on the first Friday. Anyway, good afternoon. This is a final pretrial in the matter of Deontay Stephen Williams. Mr. Williams is presently charged and filed 251626 with domestic assault. It is alleged that on August 10th, in the city of Three Rivers, that he assaulted Ava Mae Calvin. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. A few days later, the defendant was arrested on another assault charge, and that is in 251724 FY. That's a felony. And the defendant was charged in that complaint alleging that on August 26th, that he again assaulted Anna Mae Calvin. He's also charged home invasion and assault, great bodily harm, and domestic violence. He has been in custody since August 26th, which I believe as of today is 163 days of credit. He's here with his lawyer, Jordan Harden. Also present is Abby Stoll from the prosecuting attorney's office. And I know Miss Harden and Miss Campfield and Miss Stoll have been talking about both of these cases. Miss Harden, what's the status here?
Thank you, Your Honor. Very recently, a new offer in the felony file was tendered to my client. I spoke with him on that today. We are in the process of getting that set for a plea in the circuit court. A plea in that file would dismiss this file in its entirety as part of that resolution that's been offered. So at this time, if the court wishes to leave this on the trial docket, I'm hoping to get the plea done in the next few days with the circuit court, and that would address this file and bring it to conclusion.
You agree with that, Miss Stoll?
That's correct, Your Honor.
a plea in the circuit court case would dismiss this case.
Yes.
By the end, this becomes a case about timing and strategy. The defendant has already served more time than the maximum sentence here. That changes everything. Now the focus shifts to the bigger case. And if that resolves, this one disappears. So what do you think? Fair system or too dependent on timing? If you found this case as shocking as we did, be sure to like it, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing courtroom analysis.
Well, Mr. Williams, you've been in custody for 163 days on a case that carries a maximum of 93 days in jail. So even if we were to have a trial, I couldn't really do anything more to you. The more serious case, obviously, is a circuit court case. As I understand it, if you enter a plea in that case, this case will be dismissed. So I'll leave this on the jury trial docket. I'll probably put it as a backup for May, but it's not likely it's going to go. Even if it does go and you got convicted at a jury trial, I couldn't give you any more jail time than what you've already done. Now, as a rule, with some exceptions, if you're in custody on a misdemeanor and you haven't posted bond, you're entitled to have a PR bond set within 28 days. So this case isn't the one that's holding you in custody, it's the other one. But I would give you credit for all the time that you've served, which as of today has 163 days of credit. Asked to leave on jury docket.
And for the record, Your Honor, I did just get a response from Judge Stutzman's clerk, and it sounds like we are scheduled for Tuesday at 10:30 to enter the plea in the circuit court,
All right, so that would be Tuesday,
the 10th.
2/10/26. What I'll do is I'll just put this on the calendar for attorney pretrial. For March 6th at 8:30, rather than stick it out in May. It looks like the thing will be resolved by then. If it isn't, we can discuss it at the attorney pretrials. I think you're scheduled to be here that day anyway.
Yes, I do have one set that day.
But in true point of fact, he's already served more than the maximum sentence.
I have reached out to the prosecutor's office and asked if possible, at the time of plea, the complaining witness could be present so we can conclude with sentencing that day as well. So that's the case. This will be resolved well before March 6th.
So you'd ask Judge Stutzman to do an immediate sentence?
I asked the prosecutor if the complaining witness could be present at the plea, and we would then ask. The offer in circuit court is a misdemeanor offer.
Oh,
So that would be the hope.
okay, yeah, he could do that. All right. Mr. Williams, you're good to go. You got to ride out in the snow, crappy day. Get back to the jail. Looks like you're going to be in circuit court next week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.